everyone. It's the Moss Boss podcast, and it's another fantastic episode. And today in the studio, I've got the very inspirational entrepreneur, Julie Burns. Julie, tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do?
Hi, Amanda. Thanks for having me. So I am an entrepreneur, as you said. I'm a business owner. I'm also a mother. And yeah, that's me. I own an investment company and we deal with residential lettings, property management, sourcing and sales.
But you didn't start off doing that, did you? You had a very interesting journey. So tell us about, you used to be a dancer. Is that how you started out when you left school?
Yeah, so when I was younger, we used to go to youth club dancing because my parents couldn't really afford to send me to ballet classes as such. So I would go to youth dancing, and when I left school, God, I left school in 1994, such a long time ago.
Same year.
Oh, yeah. Good year, good time to leave school.
Year.
Yeah. So it wasn't kind of like
20 years ago.
Yeah, I think when I left school as well, it wasn't like, oh, you have to take on this massive career, and no one in my family went to university. And so I thought, oh, what can I do that's really cool? And I thought, I'll go and do dancing. So I went to Performing Arts College, and not long after leaving that college, I went and got a job working in Greece as a dancer. So it was kind of working in hotels, bars, where you would do like the cabaret showgirl kind of stuff. Came back from there, and I was growing up in Runcorn then, so it was very quiet. There wasn't really much to do. And I got the opportunity to go and work in Japan. And my parents were kind of like, well, if you get stuck in Japan, you have to make your own way back because we can't really afford to get you to fly back. So I was like,
nice.
bye.
Thanks,
Yeah. So I flew over to Japan, which was an amazing experience. And I think it set me up for a lot, for the future as well of my life and the independence that I got from being out there. So
when did you go? What year did you go? Because I went to the Nintendo game show in '95. I was filming there, so maybe our paths crossed.
Yeah, I think I was South Kyushu Island, so I was in Miyazaki for
I was in
Coca.
Tokyo.
Yeah, so I've never been to Tokyo, so that was even more difficult because there was nobody then that really spoke English, and let alone kind of Runcorn Scouse. There was nobody there then that spoke that and kind of in an English language, unless they were an English teacher. So it was more difficult. So you had to learn the language, build my confidence, get to know people as well. So I was there 96. I went there. Yeah. So
do you know what I did? Because I was working for a big TV company, and I had to put expenses through. And in the 90s, TV was just like you'd throw any receipt at them and they'd pay it. So I went shopping. I bought a brand new wardrobe, and all the receipts were in Japanese, and I handed them in. Just got paid straight back.
Amazing.
I think that was the start of my blagging days.
Yeah, well, why not? And I think if you can get away with it, and I think the people in Japan are so friendly and welcoming. We got
the fashion's insane there.
Well, the thing was, we were getting paid to work, but we used to get paid in American dollars. So we'd get paid every fortnight, and we'd have like a manager of the group, and she would withdraw the cash, and then she would pay us in dollars. But I never actually ever spent that money because we'd have, I don't know, some rich guy who had like a 7-seater car. He'd be like, right, girls, because there were 6 of us. They'd take us out for dinner. They would take us to an onsen, which is like at the bath, and
VIP treatment all the way.
Yeah, so you would get that kind of every other night. And then if we did want to buy food, we'd just buy like the cheap noodles in like the 7-Elevens. We got to do a big commercial for Hadashi Shibuya, the one with the silver thing. So we were on the billboards and everything there.
See, that's a brilliant start in life. That must have set up your confidence for changing your career and going into property, because at some point you did decide to think, I've had enough of this now. But you brought the glamour to property, didn't you?
I think so. I think when I came back, I because of the hustle and bustle of Japan, going back to a place like Runcorn was very, very quiet. There wasn't much going on. I thought, I'll move to Liverpool. I have a lot of family at the time who were living in Liverpool, and my parents grew up in Liverpool. So I moved to Liverpool and just started working the usual call centre jobs, customer service training,
just
which is
really
good.
Basically.
Yeah, and then I had my son in 2001, James, who's now 22.
Of course, we got our kids same age.
Yeah, so I had James, and then I was on maternity leave. I was working at Comet then. You know, when you phone up and you've got like a broken fridge freezer and stuff like that. And I did really enjoy it. Loved all the customer service about it. And the kid's grandmother, she, not my mother, the ex's mother, she had a job at Venmore's working as the lettings manager. And back then there was just like, you go in those offices and there'd be piles of files everywhere. There was a computer, but not everything was on there. I think they were still smoking in the offices back in those days.
Yeah,
and it was the original office on Stanley Street where the Eleanor Rigby statue is at the bottom. And they offered me a job in there. They needed someone to come in and help with maintenance and deal with the files and take some calls. So, of course, I was on maternity leave. I was bored out my brains because I'd gone from school to working to travelling. And then when you have a child, you're like, I've got to take what? I've got to take this time off. I've got to sit around. I was waiting for the kid's dad to come home and cook tea. I was like, I'm not doing this. This isn't me.
That's the thing. Working mothers get a really hard time, don't they? Because when you've got that work ethic, you just want to get out there. You just don't want to stay at home and look after the baby. And I feel exactly the same. That's why I went to work and he stayed at home, because you want to be you, don't you? And when you're like constantly just looking after a baby, it's mind-numbing, isn't it, at times? Would you not agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And no one to talk to.
Yeah, like,
talking nonsense shit to a baby. You're cleaning up shit.
Yeah.
You know, picking crap up off the floor.
Yeah, your tits are going south, your head's going south, everything, and you're just like, this
fog,
is just
walking in a fog.
Because I think when you are that kind of person as well, and I know there are mums that stay at home and each to their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's about, if you've come from, I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, so there's 5 of us. So I was always, I wouldn't say I'm a big attention seeker, but I was always fighting for attention when I was younger, because it's a big. Don't we know it and love it? But I think, I suppose in some aspects I am, because I'll go on social media and do things anyway, which in my business. But I think then it was just my life was just like bum, 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 which it still is now. So then when you go on maternity leave and you've got this huge responsibility, and this responsibility is sleep half of the day, your brain starts to go a little bit mushy and you want to get back into it. So
sounds like actually running a business, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you start a business, your brain goes mushy. You sleep when you can.
Yeah.
Because you're so busy putting everything together, putting your structure in place, your team in place, everything. That's why people say businesses are their babies.
I think so, but also I think you can relate to that when you do have a child, because you're constantly thinking when you're running a business like you do as a mother, am I doing this right?
Oh, that's...
Because you're not just a business owner, you're the accountant, you're the marketing campaigner, you're everything, and you're not trained to do all of that, but you have to do it because you're a business owner. So I think...
Yeah, this is where I come in as PR, because this is what I say is that if you've got a toothache, you go to the dentist, you don't fix it yourself. So if you need an accountant, if you need help with your books, get a bookkeeper. If you need help with marketing and PR, get a PR person.
Yes, exactly.
And
girl.
Get that in.
Definitely. But I
it's true, because
you need
otherwise you're spreading yourself so thinly, and you're taking your foot off the gas, and you're not concentrating on what you're good at. So then everything goes to shit. So that's why it's so important to have a good team around you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So when I got into property, I wouldn't say it was the most glamorous of jobs, like you see selling Sunset and everything. Now it's fabulous.
It was good amazing around people's houses, isn't it?
It was. But I think for me, I think I started in a really good position, because maintenance is the shittiest part of it. It really is, because you're the one that is... When things are breaking, people are not happy, it's just constant moaning and dealing with people. We used to get people who threatened to say, I'm going to come and stand outside the Venmore offices and I'm going to slash your throat because you haven't fixed my pipes.
Wow.
And as a young person, I was 23 then. So people don't realise actually in property all the shiny stuff that we show on social media, but they don't actually see what goes on in the background and how we have to kind of manage those things. So for me, when I worked there, I built really strong relationships with people. I learned a lot, got a thick skin.
You have to.
And it was a good way into the industry. It really was. And
Everything's
then,
cutthroat, isn't it? You have to have a thick skin, otherwise you're just not going to survive, because somebody will say something that upsets you and you fall to pieces and you can't. But and my house is on the market at the moment, and I had the photographer come around and take pictures, and it really pissed me off because he just came around room to room, got a 3-story house, and he just left the lights on in all the room, and I said, "Can you turn the lights off, please? Because, electricity is expensive."
did he leave the toilet seat up as well?
Just everything. And then I've got an ensuite, but I've got a massive bedroom, and to the side is like the ensuite.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I didn't see that room." Where the fuck were you going?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Oh, that's annoying. That's not a good start when you are looking at
Going
selling
through
your
my
property.
drawers.
I can't believe you didn't come to me.
Well, I
would have
didn't
sold
know.
it for you.
I still can, actually, because they've done a shit job and they haven't sold
yeah.
it yet, and I want
Yeah.
it sold, so we shall chat
Yes,
afterwards.
we will, definitely. But yeah, so when I was there, and then I went to work for Beetham Organisation
Oh, yes,
Developers.
that's, yeah.
It was Beetham Plaza at the time. So they were looking for somebody to do the lettings administration, and there was this couple, a husband and wife, who were managing the lettings division of Beetham. I think it was called City, I remember it being called City Housing then. And that was my step away from, I was still doing the maintenance, but it was more chasing rents, tenancy agreements, doing viewings, because I could earn commission then as well, whereas the other job, it was always in the office. So I got to learn everything about the job role, and it was quite nice because I was working with just 2 people who was running that department.
And what point did you think, enough of this, I want to be my own boss? When you actually thought, I've collated enough information and I can do this better? Because that is what happens, isn't it, really?
I think for me, when I worked in the lettings, I worked up to a lettings manager. So I actually done around 11 years with that company. And at that point, my kids were ready to go to secondary school. I was putting them in breakfast club, school, after school club. I got all the backlash from my friends that I went to school with, like, you shouldn't be going to work, you shouldn't be doing this, you're not spending time with the kids, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't listen to them, did you?
No, because I was really career driven. I was very focused on where
They're
I
not
wanted
friends.
to go.
They are
No.
not friends if they say that to you.
No.
Your friends support and uplift you.
Yeah.
They don't. That just really pisses me off, actually.
Yeah,
I hope,
yeah. Took a long time.
Bin them off.
Yeah. But you also, I think from friends, but you also get that from family. And I think there comes a time in your life when, I
I
do.
did.
God, I've even, if you watch this, Dad, I've even blocked my dad on Facebook.
Oh, I haven't
because
spoken
there's
to-
people
yeah.
who will say things because if they've never done it or they've never had that drive and ambition that you have and they can't do it, there's always them people who will try and say something really negative. But I've never been one of those people to really take that to heart.
No.
I take other things personally. I'm working on that.
I took it from
I'm
my
self-bullet in
friends.
self-help, but I do take criticism probably more from strangers than I do
Oh,
from friends.
terrible
With friends
at
and
taking-
family, I'll just ignore it.
Really terrible at criticism. But yeah, I mean, I'll block anybody.
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio. It's like,
Yeah.
snip, 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 cut you off.
I've
Fuck
got
off,
2
bye.
of those. The son was born in November, actually. My brother, Thomas, he's such a sweet guy. He's a Scorpio. His birthday's November. My younger sister, I've not spoken to her for
So you
about
know
12
what we're
years.
like. No,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's it, we're done.
Yeah.
But I don't get this. Also, people, your friends, they want to see you do well,
Yeah.
but they don't want to see you do better than them.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
There's always people watching. And I think when I decided to start the business, I'd gone through a bit of a journey before I got to that point. I came out of the industry for a while, went and done a photography degree, went and done a master's degree in a year while I was working, while I had 2 kids as
Amazing.
a single mother, because
Yeah.
I'd split up with their
See-
dad at that point. So I was doing all that and I was still trying to find money to pay for things. There's been times when I got on the bus with my daughter and I had to cover the bus pass because the date had expired because I couldn't afford the bus fare, but I was trying to put myself through university. And that was about 10 years ago now. So I kind of took time away.
But it's important to go through those stages because you appreciate what you've got now, because you have got a hugely successful business, international. Just come back from Hong Kong. We'll have to talk about that in a minute. But when people say to you, oh, how do you do it? How did you do it all? You just do. You don't know
Buy
any
my book, I'm going to
difference.
write one. Yeah.
Crying a
I
lot.
think so, yeah. But you do. But then I also feel guilty for that as well. So it's the things that we carry with us as well. So when I come out of the industry, and then I went to do other things, I as part of my master's, I'd done a research project. So I went out to the West Bank in Israel, and I put on an exhibition, a photography exhibition when I came back, won awards for that. And I am a really good photographer. I don't practice it anymore. You know, I must be. I've got a master's in it, which is great, and that visual research. But there was a part of my life that I had to go on this, a little bit of like Eat, Pray, Love is that movie with Julia Roberts,
Yes,
and
yes.
a bit of self-discovery of like,
I'm going
okay,
through
I'm
that
really
now.
poor,
Yeah.
you know, I'm having to struggle and have to, you know, provide for the 2 children, and their dad was always great in terms of looking after them, paying his way and stuff like that.
Lucky. 'Cause a
Yeah.
lot don't do that.
No, they don't. There was no kind of animosity there, really. It was like, okay,
It takes a
didn't
big pressure
work,
off when somebody's helping the
Yeah.
kids financially.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. And also having that break as well. So even if it was just, I was never one of those crazy women who's like, you know, if you don't give me the money, you're not seeing the kids. And if you don't let me go on a
that's
bend
hurting
of a
the kids,
weekend.
isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been like that. So it was
No.
always, right, the kids will come and see you when,
Yeah,
you know,
kids
the
are not
weekend.
pawns to
and-
be used in
No,
anything.
no.
They're their own people.
I've never done that. And I also look back when I look at my children now, and I think, you know, my daughter's just finished university. My son's, he lives with his father. And I think, I do hope they get to a point in their lives when they do look back. They won't say it now because they're too cool now, aren't they, at that age? It's like too cool to tell your mum that you really love her and she's great at what she does. But
Oh, my kids tell
I know
me they
that.
love me.
Yeah, I know that's really, they are very sweet, aren't they? They're gorgeous. But
Yeah.
I think mine are still very shy, my children, and I know that they do kind of look up to me, and they've seen the things that
Oh,
I've gone through
absolutely.
and what I've done.
You're a
and
huge
stuff.
inspiration.
Yeah.
I think my kids tell me that they love me because my ex-husband, to be, never demonstrated any kind of affection or love or anything. And I brought my kids up to say, this is how you should behave
Yeah.
if you want to have a loving, fulfilled relationship with people.
Yeah.
And it's okay to express your emotions. So
Yeah.
I've been really vocal about making that happen. So,
Yeah.
you know, my sons especially, they'll message me and go, love you, Mom. And I'm like, oh.
I just get like a weird gift back if I say that to me. Son, he goes, "Ugh," or he'll send some like crazy gift back. And
Oh, no,
like
they're
doing
really-
a weird face. But I know because every time he
Of
comes
course
to
you
see
do.
me, because he lives with his dad, but he'll come round for roast dinner or something with me and my husband. And yeah, he'll give me like a big hug and that. Sometimes because he's so tall, my son, he's so tall, and he just wraps his arm around. So you know, in your own way, don't
Of course
you?
they
So
love you, otherwise,
I think,
you know.
yeah.
It's weird having adult kids though, isn't it? You know, I just think it's really, it's weird because,
Yeah.
you know, you're used to doing everything for them as
For
little
them.
babies and
Yeah.
now I just find it's lovely,
Yeah.
but it's a whole transition that I'm learning about now.
Yeah.
You know, they've all got, or 3 of them have got jobs and it's just like,
Yeah.
well, you've done a good job.
They're doing
So-
amazing. They're doing amazing. And I think that's it. With the kids, it's just, you just want to see them happy. And then people always say, oh, when they get older, it's less worry. I actually think it's more
Oh, it's
worry.
more because you don't know where they're going.
Where they're going, I used to
Yeah.
stalk my daughter while she was in London on
Yeah.
Snap Maps, and she ended up blocking me because she's like, Mum, pack it in. Like, just make, did you get up today?
Yeah, yeah.
You know the way when the babies and you look in the car and you go, are they breathing?
I
And
did
you're looking
that
at the
with
breathing.
Honey the other
I
day.
used to do that just to
Yeah.
check on her to see, did she get up today and did she go to uni and is she there and where is she
Oh,
on the
yeah.
maps? But I think that never changes with
No,
them
because
and-
I'll
and
think,
as a
oh,
mum.
shall I message them now? Oh, no, he'll be in work or he'll be in the gym or he'll be at his girlfriend's or
Yeah.
she'll be at her boyfriend's or...
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it just changes, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But I think a really important message is that there's no textbook of how to be a good parent. All you have to do is love your children
Yeah.
and be there for them.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Even when I had kids and they were all younger and people used to say to me, oh, you're doing it wrong, you need to do this. I used to say, fuck off, I'll do it
Yeah.
my way
Yeah.
because that fits in with my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm not a conventional mother
Yeah.
by any shape or form, but it suits me. And people who give advice on parenting
Oh no.
need to shut the fuck up,
off.
basically.
Yeah, fuck off. Like them. Do you know what? In a way, you know, when the kids were in like breakfast school and school, and then after school, I was glad sometimes I never got to meet some of the other mums because I think I can't be
I hate
arsed with
going to-
listening to like, oh, your kid did from the posse.
I'm on this.
Like no,
I'm on
they're
this-
gonna go. The human beings
I
are
am-
gonna develop in their own stage, and like you said before, it's about. I think I've seen other people try too hard with their children,
Trying to
and
be
just
the Stepford wife.
everything, and then it's gone to shit. And then as they've got older, they've done something or they've like had
Yeah.
some kinds of issues or whatever. Wherever I've been like you, it's like we're doing the best that we can do. I'm here for you. Talk to me if you want to ever say anything. I'm here. Never
Yeah.
be afraid to speak to me,
And
and
I
just
swear in front
be
of them
like a
as well.
friend
You
more
talk
than
to them as you talk to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to shelter them from stuff that's outside in the real world. You
Yeah,
know? So,
yeah.
yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
But let's talk about where you're up to now. You've just come back from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So you were doing a conference there for investors.
Yes.
You're doing so Freya North is your business,
Yes.
and it's very bespoke property for you've got like a niche market because you've got board of standard estate agents and created something unique. So tell us a bit about that.
Yes. So really, as I said, I left the industry and then I went back into it about 6 years ago, went to work for someone else, was doing extremely well. But I didn't fit into their
Little box.
the little box, yeah, and the old
That's what I love about you.
room full of men when I was the highest position and I was the food chain of such. So what if I didn't do well at what I was doing and I wasn't bringing in the clients, they didn't make any money, they didn't get to do their work, the next department didn't get it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't understand that because the brains couldn't comprehend,
It's
a woman's
male
doing this and she
ego.
doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of I was there for about 2 years, left there. Bit of a legal battle when I left there because I was a senior manager, I was head of investments for the company. And I was doing very similar to what I do now in my own business. So I went through a legal battle with them, just kept saying no,
Yeah.
piss off,
Absolutely,
leave me alone.
stand your ground.
You breached a contract many a times. And that's one thing as a woman as well. You really have to stand up for yourself in these environments.
You have to shout twice as loud, I
Yeah,
think.
and don't be afraid to say you're wrong.
Yeah, I left a
and call
TV
people
company.
out. Yeah.
So I left a TV company when I just got pregnant for the 5th time, and they made me redundant, saying that the job wasn't available. But while I was on maternity leave, they brought in a man to do my job with the same title and everything, which is, sexual discrimination. So I took them to a tribunal and I was advised to drop the case, but I didn't. I did drop just before because I got a settlement.
Yeah.
But you have to shout. Why should we put up with that shit? It's disgusting. They just want you to just go away.
Yeah,
don't
but at
they?
the same time,
it's
they
like-
want you there because you're making money for their business. But then the director of the company wasn't. He was part of the boys' club and he was too friendly with other people.
Yeah.
But there was a bitch of a woman in there as well. This is the ridiculous. Now, I'm 46 next month, and this was a couple of years ago. And there was one woman working in another department who was drawing dead bodies on my sales board. So I was coming into the office after a weekend of just relax and spend time with the husband and kids and whatever. And then coming in to have a see that. And I'm like,
First
I
of all,
was like
grow up.
40, say I'm 43.
Where's the sisterhood?
Yeah, because I come in and shaking up the business, which was my job to do that. It was my job to come in, give everyone a
Be
kick up the
innovative.
arse and be like, there's money to be made here. Everybody start making it. And if you're not going to make it, I'm going to make sure that I'm
It's,
shining this bright star and you're all going to be like, wow, we need to start working at that level, at that speed. But instead of embracing that and thinking, actually, we could have more money from it, they all just, it all just turned really nasty. So that's why I left there.
I find that a lot.
yeah.
In corporate, which is why I could never A, work for somebody else, B, go to an office because
Yeah.
I would leave within half an hour.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
There's a horrible corporate culture of
Yeah.
bullying and childhood kind of
Yeah.
bitchiness.
We've
It
got
hasn't-
enough
it
shit to
doesn't
deal
sto-
with.
Yeah.
We've got enough shit.
Yeah,
We've got
you just want
kids,
to come
we've
in,
got,
do your
you know.
job
Yeah.
to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
You don't have to be friends with me. You don't have
Yeah.
to like me.
Yeah.
But you can respect what I do because
Yeah.
ultimately we've all been employed to do the same job, and people don't get that.
No.
I used to, when I started Lifestyle magazine and I had the baby, and I used to take her to meetings and feed her. I had nobody to look after her. But I'd say, listen, I've got a baby. Do you mind if I come to the meeting with the baby? She won't be a problem. And I might have to breastfeed her. And 9 times out of 10, it'd be fine. But the ones that always kicked up a fuss, and I had huge social media trolling. Have you heard of her? She brings a baby to work and she feeds a baby. How unprofessional is that? I got on the radio with it. I think that's how I elevated. And I didn't do it for attention. I did it because I had no fucking choice. That was how I had to juggle everything. But it was always the women that were the bitchy ones that would post on social media and try to make me feel bad, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
So-
And also, I think I love Liverpool. I've been living in Liverpool now since, as I said, since coming back from Japan. So Liverpool is my city, and I believe that women in Liverpool are all amazing. They were all beautiful.
Yeah.
Everyone is so confident.
They're so glamorous.
But there's so many bitches that are still around. Even when I had someone before I started my own business, like call me out or try to call me out on social media, and this woman had made out of her platform that I was this really bad agent, blah blah blah, and I just thought I
It's
didn't even get
jealousy.
I didn't even get the opportunity to comment.
That's
or
what they
defend
do,
myself, but
yeah.
I thought, I've never sold a
keyboard
property
trolls.
to you. I've never met you. I've never. And I did bump into an Acosta once and I was like, hi. You know, I kill everybody with kindness. That's just the way that I am. And I'll never be that person that you think that I'm going to be back to, because I'm never going to be that. I'm just too content now, especially in my own
Exactly.
life, to care about stuff like that.
Happy
But
people don't give a shit
when you're in
about
those
that.
environments,
Yeah.
it's like you don't need it. You're working to provide for your family or save up for your house if you're a young person, or do something. You don't have to go and sit in those environments. And I understand why a lot of people was really enjoying COVID for that reason, that they could have that hybrid working or that working from home, because that probably helped a lot of people
It's still carrying
at
on.
that time,
I
because
think,
they weren't
yeah.
suffering with depression as much or having that toxic negative work
I
environment
think,
and bullying. It's not
COVID
nice.
has changed the way people. I think 40% of offices now allow their staff to work from home 2 days a week.
Oh, I will with
So,
my staff. I
as
am
long as you're doing the
nicest
job.
boss. Hope you say that about me. I do as well. So for me, when I left there, I was actually going to Croatia. I was going to get my teeth done in Croatia.
Yes, we're going to come on to that
Lovely
because
teeth
you've
for
had your teeth done in Croatia,
yeah.
your boobs done in Turkey.
Yeah, I'm
And
just a walk.
Any other countries? You've got to come to Cyprus. I've got a great plastic surgeon in Cyprus.
I can't need it. No, well, when actually I was over there and I give notice on the job, and they tried to bring me back in. They kept saying, like, we don't want you to leave, because I was selling 35 properties a month at that point. And the way that the system works is you source a property for an investor and you charge them a fee. So typically in the UK, as you know, if you go to an estate agent and you're buying a property, you don't pay that agency a fee. The seller pays the fee to sell it. So the way that I run my business is different. So it was the same with the company I used to work with. So we would charge an investor a fee to do the property sourcing. So your job is to find, you're finding it. There's a lot involved in that. So it's not just a case of finding the property. So I was selling around 35 properties a month. So of course the fees were around just under £4,000 per source deal. So that was a lot of money each month I was making them. So naturally they didn't want me to leave. So I gave notice. I was over in Croatia and I just thought, I've got a week to, while I'm here, get my teeth done. Me and the husband, he was with me at the time, and I was just like, right, what can I call my business? And you know, when you're trying to think of all these names, and I thought, right, what's a really like badass woman's warrior? Because I'm not taking this crap off anyone else. I'm not having men think they can tell me what to do. I'm not having stupid women in offices who think that they can bully you to the point where you're not going to want to go into work.
Yeah,
then you start losing an income. So Freya, that's where that came from, is a Viking warrior's name, Norwegian. and north, because we're in the north.
Of course, fantastic.
So I thought, I'm going to do it myself. I'm making all this money for somebody else. I'm going to do it myself. I was shitting a brick. I was so nervous. I was like, what if this fails?
But you have to step
What if
out
I
of your
don't
comfort
sell a
zone.
house? Yeah, because
Otherwise-
you've gone from getting all this income, and I'm really like, I was at the highest point at that point.
But then you've hit a ceiling. You
Yeah,
can't go anymore.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when you work for yourself, there is no ceiling.
Yeah.
You can, stratosphere is endless.
Yeah.
So you did the right thing. And do you have any regrets?
No, absolutely not.
And
it feels like now I'm just over 2 years of running the business, and I still feel like I'm right at the very beginning. And I think the thing for me is that I like to build relationships with people.
Of course.
It's not all, of course you have to run a business for money. But for me, it was about, and it still is, about building trusting relationships.
of course.
So,
And people do business with people.
yeah,
Don't they?
yeah,
So
100%. So 80% of our clients are Hong Kongers. So you will have Hong Kong investors who are buying properties here in the UK.
what's the attraction for them to come over to Liverpool?
Cheap as chips. If you try and buy a property, like I went to a shopping mall that just looked like Bootstrap from outside. Went into it in Hong Kong last week. Every shopping mall is Chanel, Bottega.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the new look? There was nothing in there. And it was like, I was walking around and it was every department store was just like a Trafford Centre, but there was one on every other block. So they've got it's cheap for them, especially to buy in the north of England. They are still property sourcing down south.
And what were they doing then? Just for invest?
For investments, yeah. So the circumstances over in Hong Kong is very difficult at the moment financially. So their money is better invested in the UK or other parts of the world where they can buy properties and rather than have that money sit in the bank with not the security that they think that they're going to have for very much longer, where their money can, be the assets be frozen or taken. So they'll use that money then to invest in properties in the UK, as long as the interest rates are all right, and they've been up and down the last few years with the crash and COVID and everything else. So you have cash buyers and you have mortgage buyers.
Of course.
So you are sourcing. So what we do basically is a one-stop shop for everything. So we source the property for them, find it.
They're never going to see it though, are they? It's just something on a piece of paper for them. So, have you ever thought about going to Hong Kong to get your body fixed?
I know they do it in Korea. So Korea's really popular for it, isn't it? So if you
don't know.
Yeah, so
Really?
Korea is
Wow.
really popular. So Japan and Korea, because a lot of clients were saying to me, I say clients, but
Is it
they're all
expensive?
friends.
Is it expensive in?
No,
I
I
would
think
not
it's the
thought-
same in Korea. Yeah, a lot of them go there for face. A lot of people from the UK go to Korea now. So
I didn't
like
know
you go
that.
to Turkey for your teeth and your boobs and your Brazilian butt lifts or whatever you want to get, and hair transplants is a big thing. The same in Asia, they go to Korea. It's a big thing out there.
And it's
Japan,
cheaper than the UK, even though.
Yeah.
Even with the flights, and you get a holiday out of it. No. But are you well enough to actually go on holiday? You're just stuck in a bed.
No, that's the thing. That when you go and have surgery, you're always stuck there, aren't you? It's not like a holiday.
Yeah.
I went to Istanbul, 5 weeks ago now?
And what's the next? Because full body, everything.
No.
Would
I
you
think
do
I'm
no lipo?
No.
So just go to the gym. Honestly, it's the best thing for you. I'm not preaching, but I am. The gym is just like, it's not instant results, but then it's like a business that you're building up. Your body's your business, you build it up.
Do you like
and
it,
you
but I get
so
bored.
much.
I get so bored. But I mean, I've not been able to go since I had a breast augmentation, so I had a lift and implants because I had a gastric sleeve last year in Turkey, and I lost 72 pounds in a year.
Wow,
so of
that's
course
drastic.
there was a lot of that area was, and obviously having 2 kids, and I wasn't really bothered before.
Did you
'cause I
have
was more
like
full out.
saggy bits that you had to have tucked in?
Or
did you
after
just-
I lost the weight, I mean, I still need to tone. I was going to go and have a tummy tuck while I was in Istanbul, when I was in Istanbul, but I knew I was flying to
I'm
Hong
just
Kong a
rubbing
few
my
weeks
neck.
later. So I was like, but the funny thing is, so if anyone's been to Istanbul, it's like The Walking Dead, because people are there, they're having bum lifts, tummy tucks, and you can't. It's like when you have a C-section with a kid, you can't stand up straight. So to walk around like that,
oh my God,
everyone's like they've had the boobs done, the boobs done, the hair transplant, the rhinoplasty, and then everyone's got these drains, and then you go down for breakfast because of course they put you in the same hotels. It's all part of the packages, isn't it? And people are sitting there eating the shreddies with like drains. And
oh my God,
so
no, thank you.
I said to Jay, because my dad said, because we had a self-contained apartment, I went, let's just go to the supermarket and get breakfast.
Oh my God, I couldn't.
So I was just cooking food because I thought I can't sit there while someone else has got like all the gunk of the drains, and I'm trying to eat a boiled egg.
I'm just actually rubbing my knee because I dropped my barbell on my knee yesterday, and but I'd rather have that as an injury than have open wound and. Yeah, you can't talk me into surgery. I think that's
go it to the for gym. Me. Yeah, I think that's it now. And I mean, I think the rest of my body I'll just work on. I'm going to have yourself. That. Yeah,
good. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So, we're going to wrap up now. But what's the one piece of advice you'd give to anybody who wants to change career or go down a different path? Or what's the one piece of advice you'd say?
I'd just
very quickly
say, especially for women, if you can join the women's organisation, it's a fabulous organisation. There's a lot of free things that you can do. Don't be scared to go into business.
Basically, don't be scared to ask for advice.
Don't be scared to ask for advice. There's lots of help around, and especially if you're a mother, don't think that you're going to go without.
Don't listen to anybody about parenting advice.
Oh, switch off. Just switch off anyway in business. You've got to switch off from the outside noise.
Just listen to your gut. Follow yourself. But anyway, thank you very much, Julie.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again next time on Moss Boss Podcast.